Hello, good morning. Shall I start? Okay. Okay. In the name of God, the compassionate, the merciful, I am very happy that God blessed us with this visit. And although I am not in person there, but I feel very much to be there. And I know what I am missing. This is a sign that I am present. So uh, I like to send also my greetings to all our Focolare brothers and sisters, those that we met or we didn't meet. But I see team that we know each other for more than 20 years, 25 years. So, and also I would like to extend my greetings to our brothers and sisters from the Shia community. So from both sides of the family, I see people that are very much tuned to the message and the spirituality of unity. Uh, I don't know what I can, offer which would be beneficial, because you are all dedicated to this cause of unity, and maybe just I can share a little bit about our relation with the Focolare and what we reached in the last round of Wings of Unity, which was round 10. So as you already know, we began to meet with our Focolare brothers and sisters in the UK, and that was about maybe 97 or 98, that for the first time we were first visited by Marite, who was in Liverpool, came to Manchester, and then we were invited to a day meeting of Focolare organized in Hope University, at the Hope University in Liverpool. And that day program was very important, and I have said in some of the talks that I was sitting next to Father Jonathan, a Benedictine monk who was also very much related to Focolare. And that was the first time in my life I was sitting next to a priest and sitting next to a monk. But thanks to God, I didn't feel anything, bad, or I didn't feel anything is, worrying. We felt very much connected, and I said, I like to visit some Christian seminaries, because I come also from a seminary background, and I like to explore Christian seminaries if possible. And he said, we can visit Ampleforth, which is not for like seminarians, but for training monks, because it was his community and he was able to arrange. So thanks to God, we visited the Abbey, Ampleforth Abbey, and we made good conversations, and that was beginning of a long journey of exploring the Benedictine world and starting Catholic Shia dialogue. Just last year we had the 10th round of Catholic Shia dialogue in France. We have published 6 volumes, but this came as an offshoot or as a side fruit of the relation which we started with Focolare. So it was through Focolare that this came and by itself grew and became, thanks to God, something very important. And then we attended Mariapolis for the first time in UK. Team must remember. So the first one was in Lake District. At that time, King was responsible. The team was responsible for male, part of the Focolare, and with Mari. So we were the only Muslim family in Mariapolis with hundreds of Christian friends, and we felt very much comfortable and very happy, and we saw love for God very present in all the discussions and activities, and also love for neighbor, and we happened to be that time their neighbor. So so we received lots of love. I remember, in the nights, we had discussions we were with some families, near a corn mill. So we used to meet there. Father Jonathan, his sister Simon, Christina, we all, were meeting in the night to discuss some of the things. So we were divided into two groups, and once Simon came in the night, and said, there are too many Muslims in your group, we don't have any Muslims. So he asked us, to go there, because a Muslim family from Manchester also was visiting us, sometimes. So thanks to God, we started this journey about 25 years ago, and never ever, we could imagine that we would reach what we have reached now. And therefore, I am hopeful that after some years we can again say we never imagined when we met in Luminosa that we are going to reach there. If it is God's work, it can grow beyond our imagination. So we attended Mariapolis several times. Then we were invited to attend a meeting that Focolare movement organized for Muslim Friends of Movement in '99. In the eve of New Millennium, there were more than 300 Muslims. There was a large group of some 90 people from United States, from African Muslims. W.D. Muhammad and others. Some of you, I heard, have come from Harlem. One of you, so you know all that. So that was '99, the first time I went to Italy, and also we went to Lopiano. The large group of some 300 people, had a day visit of Lopiano, but I had requested that my family, we stay in Lopiano more. So we stayed maybe 3 nights or 4 nights in Lopiano. I had a, deep love for Lopiano, even without knowing about Lopiano. So in 2000, I went back to Italy. At that time, Dimitri was in Italy, Dimitri Bregant. And I said, I want to know more about Catholic Church. So we went to many places, to Pisa, Pontifical Institute for Arabic Islamic Studies. We went to Assisi. I very much enjoyed Assisi, and I always remember the first time I visited Assisi, how peaceful and spiritual I felt there. Of course, in other visits, but the first time is giving you the first impression is very important. And then I went myself by train to Padua. I stayed with Focolare friends in Padua for a few days. And so it was a good time to explore more. And then in 2002, we went for another meeting of Muslim Friends of the Movement. And so we had lots of meetings in UK, Italy, and even normally whenever I travel, I try to visit Focolare and the Shia community. So from US and Canada up to Philippines, I have always tried to visit Focolare and the Shia community whenever I travel. I remember, just in particular, I mentioned the late Terry in Toronto. In my first visit, I visited Focolare, and with him, we had a connection with through satellite with Italy when there was a feast for family, maybe 2004, 2005. So this has become part of my life. But then what happened was in 2015, when we went with a group of ladies, and Isra was one of them. I don't know if Sister Shahnaz was there. Maybe Sister Shahnaz was not there, but Sister Isra was there. So there was a group of ladies that went for the second time to Lopiano for a small formation, because I had requested Roberto and Christina Lee, who visited us in Com, that, if it's possible to organize a kind of formation for Muslim women so that they can see what's the experience. And they had to prepare something special. They didn't have this before, so there was a program of 4 weeks. They used to work half a day and study half a day. It was a very great program. And in that time, we had beautiful moments. I don't have time to explain. Maybe Isra and Shahnaz can explain, what happened also, which extended our stay there. Something unpleasant, but led to good discussions and beautiful time about losing passport, etc. So, in that time, we felt that there is something that we can do more. So, Piero invited me to go and teach in Sofia in a new course for MA students on interfaith. And they wanted people of different faiths to talk about their perspective about interfaith. So basically in April 2016, we started a new chapter. When I went for teaching, I had 4 sessions in Lo Piano, in Sofia. But then I had a meeting with Piero, and I said to Piero, I believe you are committed to unity. You are really working hard for unity. You have dedicated your life to this. I have done also something, not like you. I always feel very embarrassed when I look at what some other people have done for unity. I feel I haven't done enough. But I said, I am somehow committed. You are committed, definitely. But it seems that we are stuck. We have good relation, love, trust, everything is there. We already know each other for about 20 years. But it seems we are stuck. We reached the point that we need, something extra. And my suggestion is that now, because I am in London, I am close to Italy, every few months we meet very informally, relaxed, like family members. We just meet and discuss, share our thoughts, and see what God sends to us as guidance and inspiration for unity. And I told him something that might be not said before. I said, I am sure, this part is common, of course, the second part. I said, I am sure that God will guide people that struggle for understanding. This is Quranic verse. But I said, I cannot say to God honestly that I struggled for understanding. I tried every means for understanding when I only discuss with Muslim friends and I only read Muslim books. You also the same. You cannot say to God, you did everything for understanding God's plan for unity if you limit your discussions only to Christians. God has gifted both communities of Muslims and Christians and others also. We need to sit together and ask God to help us. We need to listen to God. Later I developed it in this way. I said we need to listen to God with 2 ears, with Muslim ear and Christian ear. God sometimes spoke in the course of humanity to both ears, but sometimes maybe God speaks to 1 ear. Maybe God speaks to 1 Muslim saint or 1 Christian saint. What is important for us is not to miss anything from God. I should not say to God, God, when I meet my Christian brothers and sisters, please tell me what you want, I then share with them. I want them to hear your ideas from me. This is selfish. I should say, God, please guide us. you can choose to talk to us through Muslim mouth, Christian mouth, or even someone outside, through a child, I don't know, through whatever means you choose. Just speak to us. We shouldn't say, before any round of dialogue, God, please enable us to show how rich is our tradition, how beautiful our theologians, have explained these things. No. And it is why, every time we meet with our, Christian brothers and sisters, rounds of, wings of unity, etc., we also pray that whoever is the presenter would be given support by God. We wouldn't say, God, please help Muslims, or please help Christians. We ask God to help everyone. So I said to Piero, let us get together and ask God for guidance. We share our thoughts, we open our hearts to each other, listen without any prejudice. Just ask God to guide us. He very much welcomed this idea, and he said, what should we call this? I had not thought about name because I didn't know he's going to accept whatever. Just came to my mind, Wings of Unity. Because we need two wings, not just one wing. With one wing you cannot fly. You need two wings. So, Wings of Unity was the name that came in that meeting. Of course, Piero also asked me to do the Pact of Love. We did Pact of Love as well. And then we said, let's meet in July. So it was short notice, but he was so happy that soon in July, we had the first round of July 2016, the first round of Wings of Unity. And the title was Unity of God and Unity in God. And thanks to God, we had many occasions to share these ideas inside community and also sometimes together. For example, in World Parliament of Religions in Toronto, with our Focolare friends, we had a panel on unity of God and unity in God. In University of Glasgow we had. In Italy we had. In Tangaza University in Kenya, now it's 3 years that we have had courses. Next year with the fourth time, plus we had conferences, always under unity of God and unity in God. Because after Tonadiko, we went to Kenya for 8th round of Catholic Shia dialogue, and we presented the idea of Wings of Unity, especially unity of God and unity in God. So, thanks to God, our relation led to different things, including Wings of Unity. And Wings of Unity now has reached maybe end of one cycle, because we had the 10th round recently. And that was about thinking God in God. That was about mystical theology. And everyone felt that compared to the first round, we are more united and we are more advanced in our thinking about unity than the first round, although the first round by itself was very powerful. One of our brothers, Focolare brothers, a priest, Vincenzo, maybe some of you know Vincenzo, he has done his PhD with Piero on interfaith. After the first day of Wings of Unity, in the beginning of the second day, he said his idea of interfaith changed. Just after one day, although he was very knowledgeable about interfaith, he has done his PhD on this. So the first round was already very powerful. But now at the 10th round, we feel much more closer to each other and much more determined to continue and more grateful to God for this gift. We hope that God will guide us in every step, and we hope God help us especially with getting rid of our ego, even religious ego, because one of the worst type of ego is religious ego. I want to be above others, but I say I want Islam to be above others. I want Shia Muslim to be above, but maybe It's just me. If I was on the other side, then I wanted the other side to be above all. So I am hiding my ego behind my faith, behind my this is religious ego. So the topic of the 10th round is actually very vital. How to be able to think in the way that God thinks. From round 2, we had this discussion that we should not limit our understanding of God by our theology. This is a very sensitive issue. I hope I am not misunderstood. Of course, you are my brothers and sisters. If you misunderstand me, it's okay, but I hope people from outside don't misunderstand me. So, our religion, our faith is very important. I said in the second round, I am happy to die for my faith. But I never worship my faith. I never worship Islam. I don't worship my faith. Although I am, able to die for my faith. But I don't worship it. I don't replace God with my faith. I think this is a common mistake. That many of religious people, they worship their faith. They worship their religion. We need to only worship God, and we should use religion to take us towards God. When you follow religion to take you towards God, then you reach a junction. For hundreds of miles or thousands of miles, there is no junction. You follow religion and follow God. But when you are very advanced, there is a junction. You can choose your religion, you can choose God. You have to be alert not to miss God and just go by the path which is more familiar to you. It's impossible to have ordinary, conventional understanding of theology or faith and remain forever just focused on God. Because religion, which is great asset, great blessing, if we are not careful, has so much of beauty and attraction and power that can become by itself a barrier, a veil, as we call it in Islamic spirituality. You, as a Muslim, if you are not careful and alert, you have chance of thinking that strengthening Islam is serving God forever. And anything which doesn't strengthen Islam has nothing to do with God. Then if you are given the choice that, for example, are you happy that number of Muslims increase, but for example a large faith community disappears from the world? For example, we have 2 billion Christians. Are you happy that 1/10 of them become Muslims, so 200 million people become Muslims, and the rest just stop faith? Maybe many Muslims say, yes, that's great. 200 million of them become Muslims, and the rest have no faith. They are already misguided, for example. Or if you tell Christians, many Christians, are you happy if we convert millions of Muslims to Islam and prove to the rest that their faith is not good, or they lose their trust, they lose their certainty? They say, yes, that's great. Hundreds of millions of Muslims become Christian. That's great, because we want to strengthen Christianity, we want to strengthen Islam. And they think if millions of other people lose faith, that's not a problem. This is not a weakness, this is not a loss, this is not a defeat. I'm not saying this is what everyone thinks, but I'm saying this is in mind of many people. But if you say, for me, God is the most important thing. For me, love for God, faith in God is the most important thing. And whoever is worshiping God, whoever is praising God, whether Muslims or Christians, are part of my identity and part of my responsibility. I don't want just the Shia community increase or Muslim community increase. I want people who are connected to God increase. I want to see what is the overall balance of light and darkness, not just my own faith or my own religion or sect. So this is a big issue, and if you are not careful, if you are not able to keep refining your understanding of faith, then your faith can sometimes misguide you, not because faith misguides, because your understanding of faith is not enlightened. So in the 10th round, we tried to explore further how we can think like God. I mentioned 2 examples. I would like to share these 2 examples with you and finish. I don't want to talk too long. One example was about parents and child. The other example is about grandparent and a grandchild. So about parents and child, I said, what do parents expect from a child? The very first thing you expect from your child is not to hurt his or her siblings. Yeah, not to hurt them, not to harm them, not to do injustice to them. This is the very first thing. But then you think, my parents expect more from me. I'm not supposed just not to be their enemy. So you expect from your child also to be caring for them, to be kind to them. If there is something for all the brothers and sisters, not to take all of it for himself, to share with them. But then you expect from them that your child should prioritize his siblings or her siblings over himself. Yeah, if father or mother does have something and children need, they will prioritize children. So a child also is expected to have care for his or her siblings. But maybe the highest expectation is this, that the child should put himself in the position of father, or should put herself in the position of mother. I try to be like father for my siblings, not just like a good brother. There's a big difference. There's a big shift from being a good, kind, unselfish brother to someone who wants to be like father for the siblings. Here lots of sacrifice is needed. A large heart is needed. If you have such attitude, then your parents with peace of mind can depart this world. Say, okay, now my son or my daughter has reached the level of love and unity with siblings that can treat them like what we were going to treat them. This is one example. And God expects from us like this. God is not satisfied just if we don't do injustice, we don't hurt each other, or we show love to each other, or we share extra things with each other. I think God expects from us to look at his people as he looks at them. We have a beautiful narration with a divine saying that God says, people are like my family, and whoever is more beneficial to my family is closer to me, is more lovable to me. So I should try to rise through humility, of course. Through humility, I should try to rise higher so that I can start not seeing myself and seeing people through the eyes of God. Another example was the example of 2-3 families. Suppose you have uncle, you have aunt. So you have your own family consisting your father, mother, siblings, and you. You have uncle of your uncle's family, your aunt's family. You love them, you respect them, you spend time with them, but it's not your immediate family. Family of uncle is always different from family of yourself, or family of aunt. It's another family very close to us. We love each other. My cousins are my best friends, but it's another family. Second family, second order. But what about grandfather? Father of your father and uncle and aunt. These partitions inside my family and their families are only understandable, or you can say only they make sense for us. Grandfather knows how we look at each other, but his way of looking at these families is different. He says this is one family. One family of mine with different parts, but they are all one family. I don't recognize them as 3 families. Even I may have closer relations, maybe some of them are better, more virtuous, more kind to me, more respectful, whatever. But this is one family of mine. And all of them are very dear to me. So, it's very difficult that I, as a person who is born in this family, and these are my siblings, these are my parents, it's very difficult for me to rise to the level that I can see the whole family as my grandfather or grandmother looks at the family. But we have to reach that level. So if you want to understand how God looks at things, I cannot let my gender limit me. God is not male or female. My nationality, my ethnicity, my language limit me. Also, I should not let my religion limit me. Anything can help me, but not limit me. If my religion is helping me, that's fine. But God is not Muslim or Christian. Do you accept? Do you think God is Muslim or Christian or Jew? I think God is not Muslim or Christian or Jew. So, our faith can help us, can offer any guidance, and we appreciate. But I should not look at the people from only a Muslim lens, because God doesn't have Muslim lens. God doesn't have Christian lens. There is no lens for God actually. God looks just based on the truth, on the facts which manifests in love. So, we are in the process of exploring these things, but in a small group that we know each other, we trust each other, and we know that we are not going to be misunderstood or to judge. Just we think and get advice, feedback, and then if we are convinced, we share it with the community and with other people. So I thank God for this great gift and blessing of knowing Focolare family for now about 25 years, and I pray that God will help you all in your sacred mission for charisma of unity. And I would like to end with asking God to salute the soul of Chiara for being a person who was empty from ego, from selfishness, and was very open to all kinds of gifts of God, which many times I think were surprising her, were overwhelming her, but she was able to open her heart for this. So we pray that God helps us to continue and to understand with more clarity what He expects from us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Shomali.
You're welcome.
Really, when you spoke just now about the clarity, I really have to say in my soul, I feel such clarity in this moment, and I'm a little bit overwhelmed because it has been such a beautiful moment with you. You shed a lot of light.
Thank you.
And I think above all, this experience that you were speaking about, we're experiencing it now in these days. And who knows, right, what will come out afterwards. But
yes,
even this that we explore together, this journey. So thank you so much.
My pleasure.
I'm a little bit at a loss of words, but thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
I'm Attilio. We've met in Canada, was before in Montreal, in Toronto.
Yes.
I just think of the surprise of the person that stole the purse at the airport.
Yes.
And when he will face God and thinking of being getting a punishment for that. Instead, he will get a reward. No? I have only one word, which is amazement.
Mm.
Lately, a few times I heard someone talking about when God acts, and talking about surprise, towards some. But I felt deep inside that no, that's surprise is something that comes when you don't expect something, no? But with God, I think the correct word is amazement, no? Because even though we don't know what's coming out of God's working, but for sure we know that something beautiful, something that is behind our expectation, far behind. And that's what I experience these days. And one more thing that I experience is that the same reality we are. We just met yesterday, but it's like if for me, like we have always lived together. And same thing I experienced in Canada with members of the of your group. So I can only say, thank God and thank you to all of us for having been here and being such a reciprocal gift.
Thank you very much.
So,
Ciao.
Dr. Shomali, I'm used to calling you Mohammed, so where do I have to look there? It's strange. I should be looking at you, but I'm looking here.
Yeah, I can see you.
It was good to relive a few moments from our joint story, our adventure.
Yeah.
So I feel we're still, on this adventure together, and
Yes.
I'm very pleased to have met your followers here. On one occasion you told me that wherever you went in the world and you went to a focolare, you find the same atmosphere, the same love, the same openness, and I can feel very much this in your followers. That there is a very particular kind of atmosphere, a very particular feeling, and I feel this is a a common feeling, and I look forward to, the next stages of this journey. Please give my love to Manaz and to your family. So, and I presume you are in England right now, or?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay, all right. So my heart is also there. So, so
Yes.
all my love goes to you.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Shomali, my name is Hans. I'm originally from Switzerland, and I live in Focolare in New York, in Harlem. And
Pleased to meet you.
I was invited to this meeting to share an experience we are doing in our Focolare in Harlem, and I didn't expect to make such a deep experience entering into the reality of the wings of unity. Yesterday, traveling to Luminosa, I was watching some videos with you, and you explain Wing of Unity meetings, and it was a huge surprise for me. I couldn't believe my ears, and today, I must say I'm amazed, as Attilio said, or like Margaret shared, I feel deeply also in my soul. It was a light, and God is light. And you used the same words to say things about God that Chiara told us. And I was such that I feel deeply that God is at work today. He chooses instruments to bring His love in this world, today in our divided world. And many things you said today, I took note because I was very touched. For instance, to listen to God with 2 ears, that is a paradigm shift. It's so strong. Or to, that God is love is not a Christian lens or a Muslim lens. It's way beyond. Or when you said, for instance, God is at the center, not a religion. That is such a change in our culture, in our mentality. And so to live this moment together, it's really deeply touching, and I hope that it can be with all of you an instrument of this way we are going, because God is working today, and I'm very grateful. Thank you, Dr. Shomali.
Thank you very much. We always admire dedication of our Focolare brothers and sisters to this cause of unity, because you are living witnesses. And as Tim said, many times I say I have been to many Focolare houses or meetings in different parts of the world, and I always find the same spirit, the same love, the same unity. So I want to thank you for your dedication to this cause and being witnesses for unity. And one reason for our visits, we go to Monte, we go to Mariapolis Piero Center in Kenya, we go to Lopiano and other places, and now Luminosa, is to strengthen our unity, but also to thank you for your dedication to this cause. Because if it was not our relation with each other, maybe we were not able to understand these things. And so we are very grateful to all your services and dedication. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, I see nothing there. Dr. Shomali, hello.
Hello, how are you?
It's Gary. I have never had the joy to meet you personally, but I've met many of your followers over the years, and I understand now why every time it's such a special atmosphere to meet with your followers, because you have been so diligent in following God's plan and carrying forward a plan of God that we alone could not accomplish. Only together we can. And it has been really such a joy to be part of this, which is much more than a dialogue. It's a friendship and a unity that we feel across not borders, but across the lines of our own religions and of our own communities. And I feel I have to be very thankful to you to have taken this inspiration and brought it forward and continue to bring it forward and helping us to come together in moments like these. So I'm really thankful to you for this, and I greet you as a brother.
Thank
and
you.
Hopefully one day we may have an opportunity to meet face to face. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's great pleasure. I don't know if Tim, do you know Daniel from Scotland?
Yes, I do. Yeah, Daniel.
Yeah. So
I do know John Daniel. Yeah.
So, it was through the program in Tonadico that
okay.
Daniel,
with you.
yes, so Daniel came from Scotland. So we had a large group of Christian and Muslim youth, as Isra mentioned. And it was because of that experience of unity among Muslims and Christians that Daniel decided to go to Lopiano to join a school, and then later Sofia, and then he decided to become focolare. And when we were last time in auditorium,
we have a collective responsibility for his vocation.
Pardon?
We have a collective responsibility for his vocation.
No, so what I'm saying, actually, I asked Daniel in the last auditorium meeting to explain. So our relation is not to compromise about our faith. Indeed, the youths who come to these meetings are practicing, and they become even stronger in their faith, but with different understanding of strengths. Strength is in unity, not in being harsh and one-sided or divisive.
That's beautiful. That's the secret of real interfaith dialogue, is that we both grow.
Yeah. Yes.
Growing towards God. But as you said once upon a time when I spoke to you, that it's on these occasions we don't feel like that we are 99% united. We are 100% united. If we are in God, we are 100% united.
Exactly.
Okay, so what do we do? Would any of you guys like to say something?
Dr. Shomali, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
It's such a pleasure and an honor to be in this gathering and for your talk today. And just like Sister Margaret, I too feel overwhelmed. But the overwhelm for me started when we first joined, and I got to meet you and learn under you in 2017. And to learn and hear about the unity amongst the folklore, and reading your books and watching your webinars and the seminars, and now to be in this presence. So I just want to first start saying, I too, just like Attile, say thank God for the person who stole the purse. But in the same regard, I'm really, really grateful for the Wings of Unity opportunity and the idea of, God, when we were growing up, at the center was religion. And this paradigm shift, where God is at the center and we are all God's creation. One of the words that really touched me tremendously in one of the learnings was the currency of the present and the currency of the future is determination, not money and power. And so I make dua, I make prayer that this effort continues to grow in leaps and bounds with azm and determination. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
all that you have done and continue to do. Jazakumullah khair.
Thank you very much. It's all collective work, and I am just a small part of the team. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sheikh Shomali.
Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Shomali.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Thank you so much for joining us and for making some time.
My pleasure.
Despite your busy schedule. I also was always inspired whenever I met you, and I was part of the 2017, that first trip to Fiero di Primero in Tonadico, and that's how I met the Focolare, also with this group. And that obviously was a heart-opening experience for me. And so when I heard about this gathering from Dr. Farouk, when he gave me the information, we jumped on it. But I loved, and every time you come either in a room or on a screen, you inspire us with more light, and today was no different. And just like my peers here, I loved how you just showed us that God is so inclusive. Sometimes we tend to make God exclusive. God is just for me, or just for my people, or just for my family. But in reality, God is for everybody. And I loved how you said you should not worship your religion. That's a trap that we can all fall in. A very easy trap when you become a fan, right? Like you're a fan of a sports team, you become a fan of your religion, and you essentially worship your religion. But the reality is you have to center it back to God, and that's how inclusive it is, right? So thank you for that, and that just reminds us, and if we keep that light and that guide in our mind, we continue to become inclusive like we are here, despite maybe different theologies, but ultimately we're all centered towards, we're all heading to God. So thank you so much, and I look forward to, inshallah, see you again.
It's a great pleasure.
And may God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.